Okay, sit yourself onto a lift and into a good cross-legged position. Just have a little wriggle about, make sure that you are sitting evenly. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, elevate the heart area upwards and draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Just look down at the floor, look at something that isn't moving. Allow your eyes to become still in the sockets. Just assess whether the seat bones are even. Just if you discover that there is an imbalance, elevate the heart area, drive the heart area to the sky, draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation in through the nose. Deep exhalation through the nose, just filling the lungs and emptying them. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. With an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Focusing on the sensation of lungs filling up and emptying. Draw your chin forwards and down to make contact with your chest. Lift your chest up to meet your chin. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of thankfulness for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area and release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom and peacefulness. and physical intelligence that we can carry into our practice. Raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open, and open your eyes, allow the focus to come back. Hold on to your knees, elevate the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side. Just observe how your body feels this morning. Observe where there is resistance, where there's freedom, and balance your attention between those two regions. Draw your attention inwards into the physical body. So perhaps before, where the mind maybe wanders, try and draw your attention into physical sensations of the pose. Come back to the center. Hold on to your knees, lift up into the chest. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. So when we are in asana, we can observe the body's response. We can observe our activation and work through that continual sequence of observation and activation to develop sensitivity. So breathe. Use the out breath to turn a little more deeply, keeping the attention into the physical experience of the pose. And then come back to the center. Just come off your lift, sit back on your heels, just coming into Adha Mukha Virasana, but sitting back on your heels initially, just letting the legs just refresh into the floor. So this is a really good way to refresh tired legs, or legs that don't feel like they've had a good stretch. Just sitting back on the heels, press the shins consciously into the floor, pressing the shin bone into the shin skin so that you feel that the thighs activate, and then you can activate up into the spine. Come forwards, hinging at the hips, just using each stage of the pose as a new moment to observe. Breathe even deep inhalations and exhalations, listening to the breath. Come up onto your knees, turn your toes under, and come up into dog down. If you're not doing dog down, do supta padangusthasana or paddahastasana. Just observe the physical sensations of the pose. Initially, you'll be observing the resistance. So observe the resistance. Is the resistance even? Observe your own balance of action, working with that resistance. Activate the kneecaps, pressing the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. Activate the fronts of the thighs, lifting them up towards the top of the leg, pushing them through to the backs of the thighs. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the heels start to separate. Spend a little time in observation and activation. Aiming to bring balance of action. But first you have to observe and work accordingly. Step the feet forwards, come up into a standing position. Have some blocks for your hands if you're doing half uttanasana. Do half uttanasana if you are protecting your back. Of course, we all protect our back, but if you've got back pain at the moment, hit the heels out in line with the edge of the mat. Have the little toes inside with the edge of the mat. Just feel that those are there. Tighten your kneecaps, lift up into the chest, wing your elbows behind you, draw in the thumbs towards each other behind you, lift up into the chest, and then hinge at the hips, come forward, hinging at the hips. If you're doing half uttanasana, just release your hands now and come into half uttanasana there. Otherwise, keep extending into the front chest. Keep the head lifted, hinging entirely at the hips. Bring in the hips, bring the abdomen forwards and down, and then finally release your arms and then hook the thumbs into the crease of the elbows, wrap the fingers around the elbows. Hit the shins back so that your weight is in your heels. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Release your hands down to the floor. Walk your hands forward so you're into half uttanasana, using the blocks if you need them. Just listen to the breath. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, hit the legs back so that your weight is in your heels. Project the chin and the chest forward. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then bring your hands into your hips and then come up into standing position. Come into Tadasana. Just be in Tadasana. Just find your balance. Activate the kneecaps and the thighs, turning them inwards like you were doing in dog down. Tuck the tailbone in. Abdomen to the spine, lift up into the heart area. Lengthen consciously from the shoulders into the fingertips. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring your arms out nice and wide. Just stretch out from the heart area. From the heart area into the shoulders, into the elbows, into wrists, into the palms. Just observe that as you expand outwards from the heart area, the arms can stay elevated outwards without feeling tired. Spread into the fingers, into the fingertips. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring your arms in towards the chest and then stretch or jump out into the starting point of trikonasana. So keep the arms extended outwards, lengthening out from the heart area. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out, chest facing the front, legs rotating outwards rather than inwards, and then come down into trikonasana. Just feel where your body is in 3 dimensions, from the feet to the shins to the hips. Just spend the time in the pose, just observing it, activating it. So if the hip, that front leg, feels like it's not in line with the heel of the front leg, then move it forwards. Or move it back if you've gone too far. Find that balance. Look down as your head directly over the foot. If it's not, then lift the chest a little more. And then go back to looking upwards. Are you extending evenly from the heart area into both arms, or are you collapsing onto that bottom hand? Come back to the center. Keep your arms outstretched if you can. Swap the feet around, turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out. Just being mindful of that foot alignment. The heel of the front foot in line with the instep of the back. Just feel that it's in the right place. Rotating the legs outwards. Just have a quick look. Make sure that the heels are in the right place. Move them if not. And then come over, finding the shin, keeping the legs straight. Looking up, just feeling the pose from the inside. Feeling the pose in 3 dimensions. Observing whether this side feels different. It probably will. Soft inhalation and exhalation, listening to the breath. Let's have a quick look down, make sure that your head is directly over the foot, and if it's not, then adjust and then look back up. Extending from the heart area into both arms, so extending into that upper arm. And then come back to the centre, bring your feet parallel, and then step or jump the feet back together, come back into padahastasana. Listen to the breath. Listen to the inhalation and the exhalation. And feel how the energy of your body has changed, especially around the shoulders. chest. Just listen to the sound of the breath. So we're going to go into padangusthasana. So we did this earlier in the week. If you know you can't reach your toes, then get a belt and hook the belt in the big toes of both feet. And then you hold the belt in that gap. And then you come forward with a straight back. Just walking your way down the belt. Coming down so you never come down with your head like this, because as soon as you start coming down, if you try and reach the floor with your head, then your back will never do it. All you're going to do is strain your back. And so if you've got the belt, then just stay with the belt and then lift and hold onto the belt. If you don't have the belt, then we're going to come into the pose with the hands on the hips. Sometimes we come into the pose like this, coming forward like that, but I often find when I'm teaching that in the room, it becomes this. People start rounding the back, and no matter how much you tell them to lift their arms, they drop their back. So as soon as you start to round the back, you've lost the pose. So I want you to come forwards with the straight back, like we did in Uttanasana at the beginning. So the feet are hip width apart, the heels are hitting out a little bit, toes are turning in. And then I want you to keep the head lifted, like the back of your neck is kind of shorter than the front of your neck. And come forwards, hinging entirely at the hips, keeping the heart area lifted. Hinging at the hips, keeping the head lifted. Like the head is magnetically attracted to the ceiling. So if you're using the belt, just come forwards until you kind of get stuck in the hips, and then don't go any further. Just work at that stage. If you're you're reaching down to your feet, even though you can probably reach right now, keep coming forwards. Keep the head lifted, keep the heart area extending away, and then index finger and the middle finger underneath the big toe. Wrap the thumb around the big toe. Now, when you came into it this way, maybe you feel that you've come further than you might normally. Hit the shins back. Have a tug of war with your big toe. So if you've got the belt around the big toes, stamp the big toes down. Pull on the belt. Stamp the big toes down. If you've got hold of your big toe, feel like you're trying to rip a nail out of the floor. Keep lengthening the chin and the chest forwards. Keep the head lifted. And then if you can, bend your elbows out to the side. Keep that tug of war with the toes. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Listening to the breath. And then release, just come to the halfway point. Release your toes if you've got hold of them. And then bring your hands into your hips. And then come up into the standing position. So it's a good way to just loosen out stiff hips. So the backs of my thighs were feeling really tense this morning, and these kind of poses help to open them up. We're going to do padahastasana. And so padahastasana is one of those poses that if you can't reach your toes, then you just do padangusthasana again, but have the fronts of the feet elevated, like on a blanket like this. And then you come forwards in the same way, just keeping the back straight, and you come forward just as far as you can. So if you know that you can't reach your toes, then you come down that way. So this time you're going to come forwards in exactly the same way, but this time you post the backs of the hands underneath the feet. So that's where we go. So you try and get the whole of the hand underneath the feet if you can. So bring your heels apart Turn your toes in, tighten the kneecaps. Lift up into the chest, wing the elbows back, press the thumbs into the lumbar gently, and then come forwards, hinging at the hips, keeping the head lifted, keeping the back straight, keeping the hips, the active hinge. Keep lifting, even though you can reach the floor probably, then keep coming forwards, and then release your arms. Slide the hands underneath the feet. The legs need to stay straight. Tighten the kneecaps. So use the blanket if you really can't reach at all. Use those lifts under your feet if you can't reach. Lift the seat bones up to the ceiling. Press the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Project the chin and the chest forwards. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Stamp the feet into the hands. Try and lift the hands up off the floor. But keep stamping the feet into the hands. If you can, keeping the head lifted still, you can bend your elbows out to the side and draw your chest through the legs. And then release your hands. Just come back into half uttanasana. And then walk your hands towards the end of the mat. Come into dog down. If you're not doing dog down, do Adho Mukha virasana. So if you need to bend your knees to find the floor, then do for this. But when you're in dog down, then straighten the legs. Activate them. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards like you do in Tadasana, like you do in padangusthasana, in padahastasana. Just feel how the pose feels for you. Have the feet hip width apart, the hands shoulder width apart. Let the head hang down. Okay, and then bring your knees down to the floor, bring the toes together, and then step, have the knees apart, the toes together, just sit back on your heels for a moment, observing your energy, and then hinge at the hips, come forwards, extending forwards, drawing the seat bones down onto the heels, and then lengthen the arms away. Keep sitting back on your heels, consciously pressing down into the heels, lengthening from the hips into the armpits, into the elbows, the wrists, the palms, the fingers, the fingertips. Okay, sit yourself, bring your hands back underneath your shoulders, push yourself up into a seated position, just observing the lightness of your energy. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, just observing how your energy has changed. letting the energy settle, just keeping your attention inside the physical sensations of the pose. Okay, we can do a headstand. If you're not doing a headstand, do supta padangusthasana. So supta padangusthasana, like this. So coming to supta padangusthasana if you're not doing headstand. So if you're doing headstand, if you know that you can kick up, then do it by the wall. If you just want to do the preparation stage, you can do that in the middle of the room, but having the wall behind you is kind of a useful thing because you can feel where the wall is so you can feel where the wall is, but you don't necessarily need it, because if you're not kicking up, then then you can just use the middle of the room. So if you're doing headstand, then preparation is really key. You should never just throw yourself up into pose. So have your elbows shoulder width apart. Lengthen into the outer wrists, stretching the outer wrists away, and then bring the hands together, interlock the fingers, and then press the elbows into the floor, making sure that the elbows aren't wider apart than your shoulders, and then lengthen into the little finger side of the hands. Press the outer wrists into the floor. Keep the head lifted at this stage. Keep the head lifted and look at your hands. Because when you drop your arms, when you drop your head down like this, then your elbows are going to slip apart. So make sure your elbows are shoulder width apart. So Ian, your elbows look a bit wider than shoulder width there. Ian, your elbows look a bit wider than shoulder width. Let's bring them in. That's it. Okay, bring the chin in towards the chest. Press the palms, so the outer wrist firmly into the floor. Bring the chin into the chest. We're not going to bring the head down to start off with. If you're doing just the preparation stage, you're just going to push your elbows into the floor and then come up onto your toes and do like a dog down variation. It's like a shot, it's like an elbow balance. So push the elbows into the floor. Lengthen from the armpits into the elbows, but have the head free of the floor to start off with. So your head is between the elbows rather than into the hands at this stage. Just work to lift the seat bones. Do dog down with the hips. Okay, and then come down. So look at your hands. Look at your hands or your elbows. Have they moved? Keep them in place. Have the upper facing wrist directly below the lower facing wrist, so the hands aren't collapsing inwards. Bring the chin into the chest, and this time, if you want to, you bring your head into the hands. So the top of the head is on the floor. Keep pressing the elbows into the floor, and keep the elbows pressing into the floor really firmly as you come up onto your toes, and maybe you walk yourself in. And then at this stage, you either stay there or maybe you just raise one leg and bring it down, raise the other leg and bring it down. But when you raise it, you raise the leg straight. So you come up into the pose with straight legs. But we're not going up if you're in the middle of the room, not until you're ready. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. So if your elbows are a little bit wide apart there, so bring your elbows together if you can. That's it. Push from the armpits into the elbows so you can rest in between it, Ian, if you need to. From the armpits into the elbows. And turn the tailbone in. So Abigail, you're pressing your lumbar forwards a little bit. So draw the belly button towards the spine and lengthen the sacrum away from the lumbar. Turn the tailbone in. See if you can balance, Abigail. I think you probably can. Just move one foot away from the wall and the other. Your base looks stable, but you're overworking in your lumbar. You're letting your lumbar collapse a little, Abigail. So draw the tailbone in. Draw the belly button to the spine. Draw the lower ribs towards the spine. That's it. Now you'll be able to balance, I reckon. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. So Ruth, you're leaning over to your left side a little bit. So, okay, come down. And then when you're down, just come down into Adho Mukha Virasana, but with your fingertips pressing into the floor, the palms away from the floor, so that it gives you space in your shoulders and in your neck. Okay, bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then sit yourself up. Just come back into, just sitting back in Virasana, observing your energy. Just observe how your energy feels right now. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. So we're going to come into supta virasana. So supta virasana is always one of those poses where people always kind of dislike it until they've got enough lift underneath them. So you need a bolster or some cushions or some blankets just to give you a little bit of elevation. But it needs to be high enough in order to give you the space to come back. So let me show you. Don't do it yet. Let me just show you. So you're going to come into virasana. You can always put a belt into the back of your knee if you've got problematic knees. And then you're not sitting on the bolster at this stage. Your bolster is behind you. And then you lift the chest. You lift the chest and then you come down onto your elbows and then you guide yourself down. And then you tuck the tailbone in. You might feel an intense stretch in the thighs, but that's good. If your knees don't come down onto the floor, then give yourself more lift. If you kind of think of this pose with a kind of a sense of dread, then put a couple of blocks underneath your bolster. So you raise it up a little, and then that will give you more space. So use, or if you've got two bolsters, you can use two bolsters, one on top of the other. So just use whatever you need. Sometimes this might look a bit high, but if you need a little bit of extra height, being too high is better than being too low. So you come down, just making space in the backs of your knees, and then just come down. And if you're too high, then it's not the end of the world. It's actually really nice to come into it too high. If your head is rolling back, then have a blanket for underneath your head. So just come into the pose in any way that is accessible for you. So you give yourself additional lifts. If your bolster has to be all the way up here, then put blocks underneath it until it's that high. Because sometimes you do just need a bit of extra height. When I was doing my teacher training, I think we had blocks up to about there, so almost up to my shoulder height, because I just didn't get on with this pose at all. But now I really like it. Now I find it kind of freeing. But you know, that takes a bit of time. You've got to find the right level. If you really can't get into this, then do supta baddha coming back onto the bolster. So draw your knees together. Draw your knees together. Tuck the tailbone in. Draw the buttock flesh away from the lumbar towards the backs of your knees. Draw the belly button towards the spine. So it can feel quite pinchy in the lumbar, can't it? So if that is the case for you, then you consciously draw the buttock flesh away from the lumbar. Draw the tailbone inwards, pointing the tailbone up towards the ceiling. You draw the abdomen in towards the spine. Let the arms just rest at the sides of the body, palms facing upwards. And then just be in the pose. Try and keep your knees together. Mine always want to separate. You can always tie your legs together, but you know that's a bit extreme for a Wednesday morning, I sometimes find. So just be in supta virasana. This is a really good pose to minimize back pain, although you might have to take my word for that. Keep turning the tailbone in if you feel it impinges on the lumbar, or move the bolster a little closer to the seat bones before you go down. Stretch your arms to the ceiling, interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then extend your arms along the floor. I mean, they won't reach the floor because of the bolster, but just extend your arms away. Just feel the deep, intense opening action of the front of the body. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Raise your arms, swap the interlock of the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then again extend your arms along the floor. Try and keep your attention in the pose. Focusing on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. Okay, release your arms, just rest your arms on the floor either side of the body. And then in a moment we're going to come out of the pose. So I want you to push your elbows into the floor, lift the chest, try not to poke forwards with your head. Lift the chest and then bring the hands onto the floor. Push yourself up into a seated position, come up onto your knees. Just work with the body as you bring yourself out of the pose. Turn your toes gently under. They'll be very reluctant to straighten, so just respect that. And then come up into dog down. Again, your legs will be reluctant to straighten, so just respect that. But whereas we normally resist bringing the heels down after supta virasana, it feels good to bring the heels down as close to the floor as we can, just stretching out the calf muscles. Straighten the legs gently. Wait until the legs are ready to straighten. Bring the heels down, keeping the legs straight. Just let the legs refresh. And when your legs have recovered, then gently just come down onto your knees and sit yourself down onto your seat bones. And then come into cross legs. So in cross legs, just hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. So back bends are deeply energizing. They bring energy to the body and to the mind. Lift up into the chest. Find balance at the seat bones. And then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across and your ribs and your shoulders. And then come back to the center. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, and then turn to the left. And then come back to the center. So supta virasana really wakes up the spine, doesn't it? It really wakes up the body. It brings kind of lightness into the body and into the hips. Come down onto your back, and then again, just to counter that previous pose, we're going to go into supta kapotasana. So pull the feet towards you. So let the knees be apart. So have the feet in line with the hips. Just rest your back into the floor. Pull your right knee in towards your chest. Gripping around the front of the knee. Pulling that knee in towards the chest. Flexing the heel. Keeping the left foot on the floor. Just pulling that right knee in towards the chest. And then cross the right foot across the top of the left thigh. And then bring the hands into the back of the left knee. And then draw that left knee in towards the chest, flexing that left heel. Just feeling the hamstrings and the backs of the thighs and the hips really opening up on that right side. And then release. Bring that left foot down. Uncross the right foot. Bring the right foot down. Have the feet as close to the seat bones as you can. Just breathe in through the nose and then pull the left knee in towards the chest. Flexing that left heel. Keeping the right foot on the floor. And then cross that left foot across the top of the right thigh. And then pull the right knee in towards the chest. So gripping around the back of that right knee and then drawing that right knee in towards the chest with the left foot on top of the right thigh. Keep the tailbone lengthening away from the spine. Just feeling that deep stretch of the hips and the hamstrings. And then gently release. Just release the legs and then get hold of the shins, bring the feet into supta padangusthasana. So down into padangusthasana. Let the knees fall apart. Again, have a blanket for underneath your head. Press your arms out to the sides of the body and then bring the hands onto the lower ribs. Bring your hands onto the lower ribs, and that puts your elbows in the right position for stretching them out later. But just observe the energy of the breath from the outside. Observe the expansion of the rib cage. Relaxation of the rib cage just in conjunction with the in-breath and the out-breath. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. So we give the body physical challenges to ensure that our energy distributes evenly throughout the entire body. And then gently draw your knees together and then straighten your legs down the centre of the mat. Just come up onto your elbows. Make sure that you're in a good straight line. And then have the blanket underneath your head. Just rest your hands on your lower ribs for a moment. That puts your elbows into the right position. And then keep your elbows where they are. And then just straighten your arms along the floor. Allowing the body to become heavy on the floor. Let the physical body become heavy. Unhooking the muscles of the arms and the legs. Just allow the body to completely relax into the floor. When you let yourself relax, when you let the body become heavy, then you observe that feeling of energetic lightness that radiates from the bones and spreads into the muscles and the organs. And the flesh and the skin. Just basking in that feeling of energetic lightness, distributing your energy evenly using the breath. Down into the toes and into the fingertips and up into the top of the head. And then wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bring yourself back into this pose of shavasana. And then bend your knees in towards your chest, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just a final cross legs with hands in the masti, just a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside, and then send some of that positive energy out into the world. To people, to places, to things that need our positive energy. And then when you're ready, release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb, just a gesture of wisdom and physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry with us into our day. Just raise your head and allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you've really lifted your physical energy and given yourself good energy to put into the day. So thank you very much for joining me.